Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be making Instant Pot wine. And as a disclaimer, if you are not 21 or over, do not make this recipe. Thank you. Alrighty, so I first learned about this recipe from the Food and Service blog, in which David Murphy makes wine using a bottle of grape juice and a packet of yeast and a bit of sugar. When I posted this on social media, you guys overwhelmingly said, yes, Emmy, make it. So here I am to show you what I did 2 weeks ago to get me to the state of wineness. Alrighty, let me walk you through the steps of how I got here. So the first thing I did was went to the supermarket and bought a 64-ounce bottle of grape juice. And this is 100% grape juice. There's no sugar, nothing added to it, just Concord grape juice. Once we have our bottle of juice, we're going to remove some of the juice so we have enough room so we can add our 1 cup of sugar. So add that in there and shake it really well. It's going to take a couple minutes to make sure that everything is well dissolved. So once the sugar is dissolved, we're going to add a half a packet of yeast. And this is the yeast that I ordered. It's wine yeast. It's made for wine making specifically. It's not the same type of yeast that you would use to leaven your bread. So we also want to sanitize the inside of our Instant Pot. So take out the liner, put it in your sink, add about a tablespoon of bleach and lots of hot water, and fill it all the way up and let that soak for a few minutes, and pour that out and rinse it really well with more hot water. Now place the liner back into the Instant Pot and then pour our juice, sugar, yeast mixture into the Instant Pot. Then we're going to return the remaining juice. We're going to seal the Instant Pot and then turn the vent to open. Then we're going to press the yogurt setting. We want to make sure it's at less because we want this to be at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Set it for 48 hours, and every 6 to 8 hours we're going to turn the vent to open to close, just alternating. So what exactly is happening when we are adding this yeast to the grape juice? So once the yeast gets in contact with the juice, it becomes rehydrated and active and starts consuming or eating up the sugar in the juice and of course the additional sugar we added. As a byproduct of that eating, alcohol is made. Another example of this kind of fermentation process would be, say, my sourdough starter. I've got a culture or population of yeast and bacteria. I feed it flour. The yeast and bacteria consume the sugars that are in the flour, and as a byproduct, they produce CO2 gas, carbon dioxide gas, which leavens the bread, and it also produces small amounts of alcohol. So after 48 hours, you're going to open up your Instant Pot and you will be overwhelmed with the smell of yeast and grape juice. I did it right before I went to bed, and my entire kitchen had this very strong smell of yeasty Concord grapeness. I'd have to say it wasn't exactly pleasant. And of course I had to give it a taste, and it was really horrendous. Very yeasty, and I think what was most unpleasant was that it was very warm. Just boozy, yeasty, grapey in a way that was not pleasant and just terrible. It just tasted really, really horrible. Also, it was warm. Very, very warm, kind of almost body temperature warm. So it's just really unpleasant. And I think I was just really surprised at how alcoholic it tasted. So at this point, you pour your warm wine back into your original grape juice bottle. And then you take your lid and you put it on top, and you put it on very loosely, just a half a turn, and then take some packaging tape and then put the packaging tape around the lid, but don't put it on too tightly. So the yeast is continuing to consume the sugars that are in your wine, and in doing so, it's going to release more CO2 gas. So the tape is to ensure that the lid doesn't fly off, but we also want to have enough give so that the gas is released. I've also seen people use latex party balloons, and then you can see it kind of inflate, and then you kind of can burp it by releasing it. Now we're going to place this whole thing at room temperature in a dark place and let it rest. Now David said his was ready in 8 days, and you know when it's ready when you no longer see bubbles appearing in your wine. That means all of the sugar has been consumed and that the CO2 gas has been released. Now, after 8 days, mine was definitely not ready. I still saw some bubbles, so I let this sit for a full 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and see what it's like. Let's take off all this tape. All right, what's it smell like? I still smell some of the Concord grape notes, but not nearly as strong. I also smell a little bit of kind of a wininess too. Yeah, it doesn't smell bad. It seems weird to be pouring wine out of a juice bottle, but here we go. All right, look at that. It's a little bit cloudy, certainly not clear. Let me see if it has any legs. You'll get little rivulets that kind of come down the wine glass. and that's an indication of how much alcohol is in there. There, right along the edge of the wine there, you can see some dripping legs. You see that? There. Right there, you can see a little bit. Moment of truth. Let's give our Instant Pot wine a taste. Cheers. Wow, it's definitely wine. There's definitely some alcohol in there, for sure. You can actually kind of taste the alcohol fumes before you even drink the wine. I don't really care for it. It's definitely improved since when I tasted it warm, which was horrendous, and it is pretty smooth. I just don't care for the flavor. It tastes a lot like grape jelly. Maybe if this was aged a bit longer, it would mellow out a little bit more. It's pretty sharp. But having said that, I still made wine using grape juice, sugar, some yeast, and my Instant Pot. Pretty stinking cool. Alrighty, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Toodaloo, take care, bye! Ooh, that was a really gutsy one.